There is no doubt that a parent would do anything for their child. It has led people to do great things as well as others to do truly awful things. And today, we look at the latter, what a father would do for his son to get him a NASCAR career. But a little bit more on that right after this. This is the season to be spending. So of course, you don't want to waste any bit of money that you can. With the way prices are inflating now, everyone is looking at ways to cut back. But you don't have to do that now with Upside. Upside gives you the opportunity to get cash back on gas, groceries, and even dining out. And with holiday traveling, getting money back at the pump can be huge, like what I'm going to be doing, driving across half the country, especially when it comes to buying last-minute presents. And this is huge, as Upside users are earning more than $1 million every week. Probably why they have a great 4.8 out of 5 rating on the App Store. So, to start getting cash back, download the free Upside app and use code Iceberg to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. Again, download the free Upside app, use code Iceberg, and get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. Now, back to the show. So the driver we have today to look at is Justin Boston. While many may not remember Boston, he raced up in some of the top levels of NASCAR. But in the early years of his career, he was just another kid with a racing dream. Growing up in Maryland, being a big-time race car driver wasn't exactly the norm. But Justin, with the help of his family, pursued it. Starting out, Boston would race motocross, and while practicing at the Maryland State Fairgrounds, he generally traveled more southward where the scene was bigger in racing. Over this time in racing, he won hundreds of events, but after a nasty crash that left his face lacerated, he saw that it was time to quit. Instead, he would set his sights to stock car racing dreams. After seeing a cup race at Dover at 16, Boston saw aspirations of NASCAR glory. Getting direction at the Buck Baker Racing School, he started racing legend cars in the late 2000s. But by the 2010s, it seemed like the dream was over, and sponsor support had trickled to a standstill. But by 2013, he was back in it in a very big way, as he was a full-time ARCA driver of Venturini Motorsports. With him would be the company's Zloop Electronic Recycling to sponsor, a company that was founded the year before in 2012 and also was co-founded by his father. Many would say that Boston was a pay driver, but in year one of big-time stock car racing, he was respectively fast. In 2013, he ran in the top 10 in just about every race he finished, top 5 in about half of those races. And his only DNFs weren't egregious either, 2 mechanical issues and 2 superspeedway wrecks. On top of that, he was 3rd in the points in the Rookie of the Year. And on top of all that, he became an ARCA winner only a year later, winning at both Toledo and Madison. This same season, he also got his first shot at racing trucks and Xfinity cars. And in the Xfinity series, he got his biggest shot of all, Joe Gibbs Racing. JGR's number 20 car had 2 open races at Kentucky and Dover. And you know what? He ran pretty damn well, all things considered. In his first Xfinity start alone, his number 20's Zloop Toyota came home 9th. And it wasn't a field of slouches either. Drivers like Brendan Gaughan, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, and Michael McDowell all were racing around him, and he held his own with them. And future Cup guys like Matt DiBenedetto, Trevor Bayne, and even Ross Chastain all ran behind him in this race. And at Dover, he managed to be one of only 14 guys on the lead lap at the end of the day, with Kyle Busch dominating the race, ahead of guys like Eric Almirola and Alex Bowman. It was clear there was potential there. So, in 2015, he got the chance to race in trucks with none other than Kyle Busch's 54 truck full-time. And it was a very rocky and short road. While Boston had 3 top 10s in the first 5 races, and it was even 8th in points, by race 9, he was out of the ride. And many would have thought it was because of the poor performances. After all, he did crash at Dover and Gateway, and later on in the season, Eric Jones did win with this team in Eldora. Before race 10, the news came out that he was out of a ride. Boston claimed it was a KBM issue. Of the move, he said changes needed to be made and worked. I really do wish all the best for everyone I worked with at KBM. It just boiled down to what was best for me and what was best to keep my sponsors happy. But those sponsors, specifically Zloop, looked to be the problem. The team, in a statement, claimed Zloop breached its agreement with Kyle Busch Motorsports and failed to cure, forcing KBM to terminate the agreement. This marked a beginning and end for the Boston family. The company Zloop filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This both ended the company as they knew it, as well as Justin's career in racing. Where beginnings were made were just problems starting for Justin's father, Bob. KBM later revealed that Zloop was meant to sponsor the truck season's entirety, yet they only appeared twice in the first 9 races. And by August of 2015, it was revealed that Zloop would be sued by KBM for failed payments.
Boom! Lawyer.
Suing Zloop and Boston for just over $4 million. Though the next year of bankruptcy proceedings found that Zloop and Boston's father had spent more money on Justin's racing career than any other expenditure for the company. What was found was that Bob Boston tricked investors into giving him money for the company and funneled it towards his own endeavors. One of those was Justin's racing, but another, for instance, was attempting to buy a private island, buying a private jet, buying NFL stadium suites for the Panthers, and numerous luxury cars. In inquiries about the private island, investigators found that the elder Boston wrote, "My son is a NASCAR driver. I spend $5 million a year so he can play race car driver." And this was followed with the finding that Zloop spent $2 million more on racing-related advertising than the revenue the company actually brought in terms of sales and such. In December of 2017, Bob Boston was sentenced to 10 years in prison for conspiracy to commit wire fraud itself, securities fraud, and money laundering. The judge also ordered him liable for over $27 million in restitutions to the victims. And it is a shame overall, I think, because Justin Boston's legacy will be remembered for this scam. He had tons of potential, and when the goings got tough, he and his father tried the easy way out. And you know what? It worked until everyone else's money ran out. But with that, I'm going to pass this on to you. What do you think of the Zloop scam? Worst or greatest dad ever? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.